It sounds to me like you're already afraid of the rejection that you inevitably will get or feel like you're getting before you've even put anything out there. So a lot of times expectations, almost like one time this lady was saying, low expectations are the key to happiness. And it drove me crazy until one day I was like, she's right. Like
Hmm.
she's so right. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have goals and push ourselves and have high expectations. But pushing ourselves to reach big things, but not expecting it to happen the way we think it's going to happen, that's really valuable. So I almost want to say to you, you are right. You will fail. It's not going to work out, but that's okay.
Right.
Because
Like I totally did fail last July. It was the SABE retreat. It was the first time I had hosted one, and I'm doing another one in January. But I had no one sign up for July.
yeah,
But yet it was almost like it was meant to be that way because it was just supposed to be just for me and my husband and
uh,
that experience. And so it's like God's telling me, what if I wanted to give this just to you? And so I don't know, the whole thing worked through all of that. But then, and
yeah,
that was a whole lesson on receiving in itself. But I think some of those fears are coming back up right now about, oh, nobody's even going to come. But then I was like telling myself, well, what if nobody comes? Is it going to kill me? No. Is it going to hurt me? No. We'll be fine. Like
and it's
I'll
kind of
still
what
be
we were
alive.
talking about. Like, don't put out like $100,000 investment on something that maybe no one will come to. But
Yeah.
if you're not going to lose anything except for have your ego hurt a little bit, that's okay. Because guess what? When no one comes, when no one shows up, nobody knows that nobody came or showed up. So it's okay. When someone creates a YouTube video or a podcast, when we created this podcast, this is like the fourth or fifth one we've done. We were like, this is going to be
Crickets.
awesome. People are going to love it. They're going to love what we have to share. We have a lot of experience. Like, we had like nobody listening. Like, it was sad. And we wanted to quit. And we could have. And there are plenty of things we have quit or stopped doing, but we don't look at that. We look like pivoted or changed up. But we're like, you know what? Let's keep trying it because this is information. You learn 1,000 ways something doesn't work, and then you eventually learn a way that it kind of works, and then you improve it a little bit, and then so I love your perspective on like God meant for, but also like what can you learn from that, right? It's like, okay, how can I do it differently? The definition of insanity is to do the exact same thing, expect a different result, but it's like, okay, what can I do differently? Do I need to reach out to more people? Do I need to change up my message? Do I need to change up my offer? I just listened to a book with Alex Hermosi, $100 million offers, and we were actually in a mastermind group with Alex several years back, and with Russell Brunson, and we, at the time had had like more successes, I would say, and more experience in business, not like a judgment thing or anything like that. And then we sold the business, took a little bit of time off, and then we kind of got back into business and marketing and listening to podcasts. We're like, what the heck? Like, looks like a celebrity. He's like everywhere. Now that's not us. We don't want to be where he's at, but his net worth is like probably like 100 million. It's like insane. But my point is, there's some vulgarity in the, so if you don't like the bombs, which I don't prefer. But and here's another caveat I will say before everyone goes out and like listens to this book is I don't agree with 100% of the stuff that's in this book. I don't agree 100% of stuff that anybody says, but all I need to do is like take bits and pieces that resonate with me and where I'm at in my life based on what I want to do. But in this book, like it's all about your offer. It's like your offer is so powerful. So it's like, what is the offer? And I've heard you mention like several different things, and
You're going to want to get real clear
you
on
want to
what
get
that is.
super clear on what you're doing.
What's your unique selling position?
What is it that you are selling? And then not only what are you selling, but how are you selling it? And what's the message that you're going to give? And then who are the people that you're reaching out to? How many people you're reaching out to? Is it clicking? Is it resonating with what they want and need? So we've talked about horse retreats, and then we talked about the course, right? The homeschool course. So even the homeschool, like you were almost like doubting its success before you even started. And you know what? You're right, but don't be upset about that. Don't feel rejected. I almost felt like you're angry that people didn't want to buy this thing that you haven't even like sold yet. I don't know if you feel that. You're almost like feeling the rejection before it even happens. And part of me wants to say, don't do that. But part of me is like, good, because it's going to happen. But don't get mad when it happens. Just know it's going to happen. But you just got to keep figuring out the angle. And the truth is, like, there's very little like in between space. You're either failing and hitting your head against the wall, or you're killing it. Because think about it, if you're putting out a product or service that for every dollar you're spending, you're making $1 back, $2 back, like you've nailed it. But if you are like, I'm using an example of spending money, but this could be time. Time is money. But if you're putting a
Mhm.
certain amount of time or money into something, it's never going to hit right away. Like I'm not going to go put like a few hours into a thing and make $1 million. But I don't know about you, but from my experience, like 99% of people all like the same product, serve the same things, the things that, and this may not be the best example because there's plenty of small businesses and not everybody is using, but you just got to figure that thing out that resonates with people that they want. And then you start to get testimonials and it builds. And like I said, like a few months ago, like even with Millionaire University, we were spending money, not making money, putting in time. And now that has totally flipped to where we're like, oh, the time for us is a lot less. The money is way higher. And we could probably scale this up to a 7-figure business by next year if we want, or we just keep cruising, but we wanted to bang our head against the wall many, many times.
Yep. So what you're going to want to do is like really tackle that mindset, but not to where it's taking amount of time. Like you go, I give myself 30 minutes in the morning or an hour in the morning. Like an hour could be a lot, but sometimes it takes some time to really break these things down. And then you're going to want to figure out your numbers. Like the only way to get traction in a business is to figure out some number that if you do a certain amount of something, you get something that gives you something that then gives you a sell. So for example, maybe you're like, I'm going to go pass around 1,000 flyers in my neighborhood because I live in a great area where people would want to come, or I know this event. So if I pass out 1,000 flyers, then I get 50 people will send me an email or call me. I don't know about flyers, so these numbers are totally off. And then, I set up a call with 10 of those people, and then one of those people buy my program. You're going to want to figure out a number that gets you to a sell. And then you're going to want to do that as many times as you can until you burn that and you're tweaking and you're evolving. But it's like if you're on social media and you're growing a following, you boost an ad and you're like, I'm going to put $10 behind this every single day. And it cost me 10 cents to get someone to my profile. It cost me $1 for them to engage, meaning they either DM me or they like and follow me or they make a comment on one of my posts. And then you start DMing 100 people a day, 10 to 20 of those respond, 2 to 5 of those set up a call and you sell one of those. You figure out where's my platform? Like, am I doing it locally? Am I doing it through, a podcast? Am I doing it through a brick and mortar? Like, what's the thing that gets you out there and what does it take to get a sell? That really is where you start to get some traction. And so as you figure out your course and what you want to do and how much time you have also really impacts that. It's like if you're going full time, we could sit down and be like, okay, let's map this out for every day for this many hours. You're going to spend 8 hours DMing people on Instagram because you really want to go on Instagram. So all you're going to do is send
4. We'll let you do whatever you do 4. Yeah. Tara's hardcore.
You got 4 hours of just hardcore sells and it's going to kick your butt. Like, because it's really hard to get momentum going. But once you do, it's really powerful. And that's why we're talking about how we got some momentum in this podcast. So now we can use and leverage other things and where we're not just like hammering things right away. And so it's what platform do you want to use? And how do you just figure out how to hammer it?
My podcast probably would fit me a lot better than the social media, but it's like I skirt away from the podcast and just do social media because I've done it before and it feels a little safer or something. I don't know. Okay, but I think it does have to do with this whole mindset thing of the overwhelm that we just talked about. And I'm having light bulbs about that, why that's happening. Because I really do think that, because I can just start talking. I don't even have to have a big outline and things just come out of my mouth. It's just like a gift. And nice. So I think I really do need to focus there on a podcast and then just focus on how to grow that, I guess, would probably fit my personality.
Have you started
better.
The podcast yet?
Yeah, I started it in 2020. I haven't got very many episodes and I started trying to sell things on there and then I hid for like 4 years. I don't know. It's been an issue for a long time, this mindset thing. It's definitely a beast I want to heal.
I hear you.
It doesn't need to be one or the other. You can do both. And we've talked about it is best to focus on one platform if you're putting like a ton of time into them. But if you're creating a podcast that takes you 20 minutes, you already have the podcast. Like if you haven't set up the podcast yet, I might be like, oh, hold on a little bit. It takes time and there's a lot to learn there, but you've already created the podcast. You can put it out there. You can mention on social media, but I would encourage you mostly to come up with your offer. Like I'm still not super clear. If you told me the offer right now of the course and had like a price and understood what it came with, I'd send you some money if I thought like it made sense. But I don't even know like the offer. I don't know the offer. And like kind of like the angle is almost more important than even what you're selling. And that's part of the offer, right? So you want to get, you don't need perfect clarity, but you do need to get a lot more clarity. And you do need to figure out like what your offer is. Like I would worry less about, it sounds like you're working on creating the course. I mean, if you haven't noticed, like we sold Build My Money Machine before we created the program. We're creating it week by week. We're creating it right now by talking with you guys.
Yeah.
If we would
Well,
have,
and I've seen that and I'm like, I could do that with my homeschool with peace course. I
that's
could
what you should
totally
do.
like, because I have the outline and I could probably just, if I had people to talk to, I would just get on and just tell them that topic. And I
Totally.
wouldn't even have to like think about it too
I would
hard, I don't
create
think.
either a
But
basic website or a video or even the podcast, whatever, because then you can like refer people to that. Because sometimes it's hard for people, like you want both, you want to be like sell people on it directly, but also like have something they can check out. So that way you're not creating like this daily content. If you're working on like a content machine where you're pumping out content every day and you're trying to come up with sales, feel like that's challenging. But if you're like,
mhm.
okay, I have a couple content pieces, now I'm going to DM and reach out to a ton of people, you're going to get feedback. If you reach out to 200 people and you get no, like nobody says yes, then you know, okay, like what is it about my messaging that I need to change up? And then
Mhm.
but what happens is it'll naturally change up. It's not even like, okay, now after 200, after doing, you're like, okay, I reach out to 10 people, not totally getting the response I want. But you're like, you'll start changing your messaging. You'll think through it differently. If you create like a basic landing page that explains what the offer is, what are you selling, what are you doing, then people like us can be like, oh, we'll go check it out, and maybe there's a video. Like, I'm not telling anything crazy, just create some basic stuff. I'm like, oh, this is cool. We're gonna do homeschool with our kid. I feel like this could be valuable. We get it or we don't, right? But it just gives you more feedback, and then you have something like you don't even really have anything to sell right now. That's what I told my daughter. It's like tomorrow, figure out something to sell, then go start selling it. So you
Right.
have something to sell, but it's not very clear. Like it's hard
Right.
enough to get people to take stuff for free. Like
When
even
it's
to get
very
someone
clear.
to like, you can give them a bunch of stuff and say, give me your email. It's hard to get, right? Like,
Mhm.
but you
Mhm.
have to be super crystal clear on what it is they're getting. And when I say crystal clear, it has to feel clear. And then you can adapt it over time. Like we've done that a ton with this program. Initially, we were going to create like a bunch of mini videos, and then we realized let's create longer video. Like it just felt better for them, for us. It worked better, and no one's complained. Everyone thinks it's great, so it's worked right. But the main focus has still been similar. You can adapt as you go over time. You've got to have clarity in that initial like sales pitch, if you will, or offering.
And there's a thing
Mhm.
called the three pillar pitch if you want to get more clear on your offer. It's like these three different pillars that kind of help people see you're unique and you have something special to offer and you're different than other people. You know, why should they choose you? And so if you look that up, that'll help you get more clear. But with you, it's like it's everybody kind of needs something different, but we all need the same things in a way. It's like you need momentum in this business, and that takes time and effort. And it takes that movement each day. And sometimes it feels like you're going two steps forward, one step back, because sometimes, a computer breaks down or just random things. We're problem solvers as business owners. And so you know you best. And so you don't have to listen to any of this and you know your situation best. And it's good as a business owner to take some advice and some of it be like, nope, I don't need that right now, or maybe I need it later. But if I were in your shoes, I would set goals every single day and I would have weekly goals. And it would be my calendar. And the night before the next day, I would know how much time I'm spending on it and what my goal is for that day. So, for example, I would go, okay, tomorrow I have this and this going on with work and with the affiliate and with my kids. So I've got 2 hours and I am going to craft this offer, or I'm going to spend 2 hours. I'm going to spend an hour learning about offers and how to craft those, a three pillar pitch. And then I'm going to create this offer. And then I'm going to set a deadline for where I'm going to put that offer, how I'm going to present it. Am I going to put it on the podcast, on social media? Am I going to, run some ads? I'm going to put some flyers out, whatever that is. But every single day you should be setting these goals that move this needle and you stick to those goals. Now, yes, there's some flexibility. And sometimes you realize, this is a better strategy, or it's better if I have to spend time on this. And so it's smart to have some flexibility there, but not if you're seeing that you're avoiding. Now, what's going to happen as you set these goals is it's going to trigger some of your mindset stuff that you're talking about. And that will let you know if you set a goal that day and you didn't achieve it, but you could have, that you're going to start making notes. Okay. I noticed when I did this that my mind was too noisy. So tomorrow in the morning, I keep notes where I'm like, this is too noisy. In the morning, I'm going to sit down and work with my mind, develop my mindset, and then turn that, stop that. And then now I'm going to accomplish this thing. And so it's this working with my mindset, setting goals and achieving those. What are my numbers? What's my offer? And moving those things forward for you, figuring out what numbers work for you in your business. What's my offer? How am I moving that forward each day? And then if my mind is getting in the way, how do I tackle that? Pretty powerful way to
And then
move forward.
sometimes just taking that
Mhm.
action teaches the mind, just being aware of some of the things Tara's talking about, some things we talk about, just being the awareness, but then like, okay, I only have an hour. Sure, you can focus on mindset and you can't should sometimes, but if you spend like a month focus on mindset, like are you really avoiding actually doing the things still? Like your mind is sabotaging your mind. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
hit that target, hit that target. Like go try to sell it and come up with an offer. You got to know what you're selling first. Come up with an offer. Here's the good thing. Nobody knows if you don't sell it, right? Like no one knows. Like, and so you just learn from it. It's like, hey, how do I sell it differently? Like, what is it about this that you can pitch John? He's a homeschooler too. Like, and what do you feel like is off on my offer? And would you buy this? Why wouldn't you buy it? Do you think someone would buy it? Why wouldn't they buy it?
Is it clear? Do you know what you're getting? Do you have any questions
I'm
about it?
like, I want to buy it from you, but I'm not clear on it. Like, I got to be a little more clear first. Like, I'm an easy sell, but I don't know what I'm buying. I'm buying peace. Like, okay, cool. But like, what does that mean? Like, and why from you? And you mentioned one other thing, like you have a hard time you have a hard time making money, you have a hard time because you want to serve and help people. But how many people are you serving and helping right now? You cannot. I saw this like short video the other day where the guy basically said a business is like a car, but a car can't go anywhere without gasoline. And money is like a gasoline in your business. So no one
Mhm.
would think to try to drive a car without putting gas in it. You're not going to say, like, oh, my car doesn't need gas unless it's an electric car. You got to put electricity in it, right?
You need electricity.
No one's going to drive a car that's not charged or has gas in it. That would be ridiculous. But yet we have a problem making money sometimes. And it's like you cannot help people without making money. Even nonprofits have to make money. It's impossible.
Religions even take money, like donation. This
Right.
world uses
Well, and
money. It's an asset that you want to understand.
I totally see that. I see the logic of that. And I'm like, okay, brain, just like do it. Just receive it. But and
Talk to that
I
money part of you. Instead of pushing these exiled parts of you, start talking to them and being like, okay, there's a part of me that wants to make a bunch of money. And there's a part of me that says, no, that's bad. Or I'm taking from people and just work that through. But sometimes you don't even need to talk to that part of you. You just do something and then your brain goes, oh,
Yeah, that
like you
part.
can just do it. So just, you kind of
yeah.
have to fill it out. Like, am I not doing it no matter what? You got to start talking to that part.
But
And
also,
then
the
if
thing
you
And
are
is,
doing it,
maybe
just do it.
maybe it's shifting too more than I'm giving it credit for because I did yesterday. I received Venmo payment that I didn't even ask for another month of lessons that I'm doing with a gal for riding horses.
Nice.
And it was actually a bonus in it. It was more than I even asked for her the first month that we did.
awesome.
So
Awesome.
I'm like, maybe I just need to like focus on, yeah, I'm open. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm receiving and just
Mhm.
really see that.
Yeah, like I actually wrote this note there. I'm constantly writing notes on concepts and things. And I wrote, be the money maker. What I write? Anyway,
It was amazing.
it was amazing. But basically, like, there's so many different opportunities for like making money in each business. But every time you make money, like, you really are helping people, unless you're legit, like, scamming hardcore. But like, I mean, that used to happen more back in the day, and it still does happen. But when someone's scamming someone, it's pretty obvious. Like if you're doing something illegal, totally, you're not though. Like 99.9% of the issues around people making money, it's totally like honest, ethical, good. Like I'm so grateful. There's so many things in this house and that we use every day that I'm grateful that people are making money because if they weren't making money, they go out of business. So like you need to make money.
Mhm.
Please make money. Like the world needs you to make money so you can serve more people.
And people like to spend money.
Yeah.
I mean, we
People
love
want to spend
buying
money.
things.
You're not hurting anyone, you're helping them.
We love to buy things that are helpful for us or I don't have experience with horses. I'm new to homeschooling, so I can use money to quickly get information from someone I trust. It's like you are helping. Money is an asset. It's not good or bad. It's an asset, and why not take that asset and be wise with it? Get
But
experience.
you are going to have so many struggles and hiccups and like things that are going to come up. So you want to take that action that counts as soon as possible, as much as possible, because what's going to happen is if you take a long time to take the action, you're going to finally take the action. And then those parts of your brain or your mind are going to be there and be like, told you so. And you're like, you were right. Okay, I'm wrong. I shouldn't do this. And it's only because no, you still had to like adapt and pivot and change things up and try a different offer in this way and reach out to more people, but in this way and try a new angle or get feedback, like all this stuff. But action leads to information. So you only have this much information. So we take action, with we have faith, we take action based on this much information, then that information leads to this much information. Or we just get this much more information about this specific thing right here. Like Tara and I, we aren't even like what we envision for Millionaire University is still, from a broad perspective, is happening. But we didn't know that we were going to be marketing the podcast in the way that we are and working with the people that we are and making the money from the sponsors that we are in the way that we like. There's no way we could have known that without going forward. We had some basic concepts, some basic ideas of things. You have some basic ideas of things. You know about homeschooling, you know about horses, like, focusing on, I guess you're doing other stuff with horses too, it sounds like, but yeah,
Yeah,
focus
well,
in
I
on
my
the
vision
thing.
is to help homeschool families with all of those things. Like it's like my core people are to help homeschool people.
Yeah.
But
And then over time,
so,
like with focus in on like a specific offer, and then you can make other offers over time. Like a business
mhm.
really is big businesses just have like lots of little businesses within them. It's lots of little offers, lots of products, lots of service, like just different things, or they do it to a lot of people, right? So you can always come up with other offers. You'll grow your audience over time, but got to just get traction in this one thing.
One thing. And that's what I'm
That,
thinking, like the online course, because then
yeah.
that's something that I don't have to spend as much time
Yep.
redoing it all the time, right? Like if it's set up on a website ready to sell, it doesn't take as much effort from me to keep it selling. Is that true? Or am I thinking wrong on that?
It's a good amount of effort to sell a course, to get traction, to get things moving.
Yeah. I would say the most effort is the selling.
Mhm.
But if
And
I
then,
were to do one-on-ones with people, it's not nearly as like that's more time consuming, I think, isn't it? Or is it?
Working with clients in a way is almost easier to get because it's just a certain amount of time that you're filling, and sometimes they'll spread that. Courses, it's like you're constantly selling them. And so, but you could do like one course and do pretty well on it and then, shift. But usually if you have a course and you want to keep making money on it, you're continuing to sell.
it's like pushing a car up a hill and then the hill gets straight. It feels like, it almost feels impossible. And
True.
then like you get traction, you adjust your
You
messaging,
get better at
you
it.
get better at, maybe you're doing Facebook ads, maybe you're
Mhm.
promoting on whatever, right? Maybe you're doing affiliates, you're working with partners, your offer gets better, the way you sell gets better, maybe you're doing a webinar. And yes, it does. Then it's like, okay, now I'm pushing the car straight. And now the car's almost going downhill a little bit, right? So absolutely, that's how business is. That's exponential growth. But you still have a lot of hill to climb. Like you don't
Mhm.
actually start climbing the hill until you start taking action on the things that really matter, which is selling and marketing. And that's just the start of climbing the hill. Until then, you're not even climbing the hill yet. You're just sitting in the car idle. Like, so I
Mhm.
would encourage you as quickly as possible. I got a goal with our daughter. She could have taken a year before she starts selling this thing, but I want her to like, hey, create a quick prototype. And for you, a prototype would be, what are you selling? What's your offer? Like whether you can put that on a web page or something, there's got to be some kind of way of me knowing what the offer is. And then you sell that, right? But I would not like if
Mhm.
we tried to build my money machine and then sell it, we're going to be talking right now. We'd probably be in module one. Like we would not be very far because there's no motivation there. It's like overthinking, you're trying to do it perfect, and then you try to sell it and it's crickets, and then you give it like this, like I would, I would make a goal tomorrow to come up with your offer, and then I would start the next week. I would start selling. offer it off, come up with your offer, send 100 messages minimum, eventually per day. The minimum
So
next week, reach out to
how
100
do I
people.
send, how do I find people to send it to? Like just my own warm
Yeah,
contacts?
start with your warm contacts.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get a message. I want to try to sell us. Send us a message. Like,
Okay.
you have people that like from homeschool. Like, you have like your phone, right? Like, look at your contacts. Go under, like all these people here. Anyone you know on email, anyone you have warm connections with in social media.
Start talking about it on your
Start
podcast in
reaching
a
out to them. Talk
unique
about it on your
way.
podcast.
If
Talk
you
about
have
social
social
media.
media, you can just do it with your organic group, or you can boost an ad and try it for $5 or $10 a day. And then if someone engages with it, talk with them. Oh, hi. Thanks for liking this. Do you have horses or whatever that communication is for you that you start? Start simple.
And
Don't overwhelm
what
people.
Tara's talking about right now, though, like that's why I said just start reach out to 100 people because it starts with, at least 100 people that you can reach out to and let them know about it. See if they're interested, or you could just say, do you know of anyone who might be interested? If you know, let me know if you know of anyone who might be interested. You're going to get 99 no's to one yes, but eventually you'll get a yes.
So my goal is to get 99
Your
no's.
goal is to get 99 no's. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. I always tell everyone, take a piece of paper, and every time you want to quit or you failed big time, make a red X. And when you get to 1,000, then you might start getting traction. So your goal is to like fill that sheet up. Like, and I'm not just talking about a no, I'm talking about like you want to quit after 100 no's, but that's the price to pay. You suffer, if you will, you risk, and it's not real suffering. You're usually literally like sitting on your butt. Like you're not like out like
Feeling
excruciating.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's not like you're out in like 20-degree weather with no shelter, or it's not real suffering. It's in the head. Like that's all it is. Like it's
Mhm.
rejection. Oh no, people aren't gonna like me. Sure. Maybe there was a time and a place where if people didn't like you, that was kind of dangerous because you're not a part of the group or whatever. But like no, like it's fine. Like not like obviously don't be rude or offensive or like, like overbearing too much, but most people are want to support you. But yeah,
Most
I
people
mean,
just don't even care.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
like,
exactly. Like
there's nothing interesting.
yeah, yeah. But you put in the work for like the real work. Like, I feel like I'm putting in work, the real work of directly asking people to buy your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do that for a year, and then you'll start to get some traction. Do it for another year, you'll get more traction. You'll start to get testimonials. You'll start to really dial some things in. And then you have another year, and then before you know it, your whole life, you've changed your entire life. And then you look
Mhm.
back and you're like, why didn't I do that sooner? Like,
And then you have these assets, or sometimes you just make money that you put to work for you that works for you all day long, and you don't even have to do anything really with it except for get a smart asset. It's like we've started these businesses and they were hard, and then all of a sudden they are valuable, and then we take that asset or that money, we invest it, and it's just working for us. We're not doing anything. It's the easiest money. It just comes into our account because we put that hard up the hill work into it, and then now it pays us. And so those are, smarter investments and things, but they're powerful. It's like, and as you learn these things, that knowledge is always with you. That ability, that capacity, that gumption sticks with you, and you learn so much, and you can really apply it anywhere. So it's powerful stuff. And one last challenge on the side note. This is something I used to do, and we all have things that pull us. Could be a higher power, could be God, could be whatever it is that pulls us. I want you to put yourself in, I want to do this because I want to do it. Risha's doing it. And I used to hide behind God and be like, I feel like I should do this because God wants me to do it. And it's like, then if it didn't work out, I was mad at him because I was too afraid to say I wanted to do it. I was too afraid to be like, I can do this. And while he does motivate me, and for sure, he's a motivating factor in my life, I feel like, these, whatever it is, the universe or God or whatever, they want you to stand in that position and say, you want to do this. And people respond to that better. It's like, almost like people can feel when they say, God told me to do this, I'm going to do this. Like we hide behind that a little bit. And that's a great motivating factor. But sometimes it's like, you want to do this. Because if it doesn't work out, then all of a sudden here's this weird relationship with God where it's like, he told me to do it and what's wrong? And it's like, no, just do it. Do it. And if you feel pulled, you feel that divine pull, great. But like, you are the one in that driver's seat, and you'll get guidance and direction, but put yourself in the front seat of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does.
Mm-hmm. So we've thrown a million things at you, so you might want to watch this again.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I
5,000
will want
things
to.
coming your way, but it's really helpful for
Or I
everyone
would
to
challenge you
listen.
not to watch it, because that's another thing that you're going to do that's going to take time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what to do. It's just like with my daughter today. We've had discussions, tons of discussions with her. Like she's listened to podcasts. She knew what to do. And I'm like, go.
Just go sell it
Just go
before
sell it.
it's ready.
Don't
I can
listen to
build it
this.
as
Don't
I
like
go.
go sell it. And yeah, and then you create, like, I don't know exactly, that's the point of your offer, right? Like I haven't seen your course, I haven't seen exactly what you're offering, but part of the offer, like it's clear that I don't know, like for us, it's like this is what we're gonna do, and over this much time we're gonna do this. So if your course isn't done yet, you do it, and that sounds even more valuable. You could literally just set up like 4, 5, 6 calls, like weekly calls. That's it. It's like these are the topics we're going to cover, and figure out like what are the pain points that people have with homeschool. Like speak to that. Ask people what their pain points are. Cover those things. Tara mentioned the 3 pillars. Talk about like what's your unique selling proposition? Why would I buy this from you? Why can you teach me this better than someone else? What are the things what's the value I'm going to get out? Like what are the benefits? Like, how is this going to help me? Like, cover some of that stuff, put it somewhere, whether it's a video or a basic, I say, landing page. Because if you try to create like a full blown website, keep it simple. Like the information, where's the offer? Show me the offer, tell me the offer, show me the offer, figure out how to tell me the offer, figure out how I can pay you. And then once you've created the course live, you've done, now you're like each week you're doing a call, then you can sell the course that's already been created. So it's like now you've created it. Yeah, definitely sell it first. And then don't launch it until you sell some. You know what I mean? Like maybe you don't sell any at first. That's okay. Tweak your messaging, like sell it a different way. Like whatever it takes.
Yep.
So
okay. Thanks
Well,
for hopping on and talking and sharing all your.
Thank you so much for all your wisdom. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, thank you, Resha.
I always say, I'm quoting myself, wisdom only comes from first being stupid. And being stupid means you just get out there where you're at and just try something and go, oh, that worked. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, this worked. That's where wisdom comes from. Right?
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Resha.
Thanks, Resha.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. I think we covered a lot tonight. So it went a little longer than we thought. I'm glad it did.
I mean, you're amazing. You're learning. Go do the thing that scares you the most, that moves the needle the fastest. And we are here. Let us know if you need help, have questions.
How much time are you going to put into something and then show up, AKA put in the time, and then work hard, do the right things when you're there? Those 2 things, that's it. And then you don't always know those things are, but you keep figuring them out as you keep showing up. So what's your time commitment? Do the hard things when you show up. Don't do things like sales, marketing. Even if that's figuring out a sales message, like if you're not going to be the one to call people directly or send messages, okay, that's cool. Figure out how to market, figure out how to sell, like online, do those different things. Get an accountability partner. Let someone know I'm going to do this, because we move towards pleasure and away from pain. AKA we move towards things that we like, that benefit us, that are exciting, that are fun, that are motivating. And we move away from things that feel hard, that mess with our mind. So you want to have an accountability partner, because it's painful to let people down. So if you let someone know, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and then maybe there's a consequence if you do or don't, right? Like my son, for example, we have a bet that if he has to work out for 100 days in a row, at least 5 days a week. And if he does, we're going to give him like $100. If he doesn't, he has to give us $100. So it's just a fun, like $100 isn't a ton.
It's just a way where he was like, I just need a little motivation.
It's a little more accountability, a little more motivation. Find an accountability partner, let them know what you're going to do, stick to it, and just do it.
All right. We believe in you. You guys are awesome.
Got this.
Build that money machine, baby.
Build the money.
All right. Talk to you later.
See you guys.